In this video, I want to talk about how to get more content ideas, but without doing keyword research. One of the areas that people struggle with, that businesses struggle with, is they know they want to get more content out to generate more leads, but they're doing keyword research and maybe not necessarily coming up with stuff that's really resonating with the market. And so I want to share with you this strategy that I've used that got me pretty good results. So what I just call this is a Q&A method, and I was a hardcore keyword researcher for years, and because of the stuff Google was doing and the penalties and so on and so forth, I just decided to try this crazy experiment. I was just going to focus on answering questions that the market was asking. And just a little background, I'm a pharmacist, so I was getting asked questions each day as a pharmacist about drugs, so on and so forth. And so I thought, I'm just going to take these questions and answer them. And I decided to do this for a year. I did it almost daily, so there was hundreds of articles over the course of that year. And within a year, I was able to get to just over 1,000 page views a day in just under a year. The most important thing is I was outranking much larger sites that had quote unquote more authority than I did. I'm talking WebMD, Mayo Clinic, and some of these bigger corporate health sites. So I think it's important to note that you can really gain some traction if you're willing to stick to this. Now, I'm not saying this is the only method you should use. I think it's a good starter method because over time it helps you build up that authority. But again, it's a very simple thing to do. It taps into what your market's looking for, and you can get results with it. And just to kind of show you what happened, again, this was my own personal website. Ask Curtis is no longer active for a number of different reasons, but you can see over the course of a year, the page views, it took a while to get going, but once it kind of gained a little traction, there was a nice upward tick, and then towards the end, it took a higher trajectory, then kind of leveled out. And this is about the point I quit doing it, so it just kind of leveled out at that point. I do want to point out, I think I mentioned it takes a little time to get it going, so give yourself a 6-month minimum. You can see if we were to focus in on a more daily basis, there's a lot of ups and downs. So it's easy to become impatient. But once I hit this point and I stopped, that traffic, although there was a drop here, it remains steady. There are ups and downs, but over time, that traffic remains steady. In fact, that traffic remained steady for a good 5 or 6 years before it really took a drop off. And it took a drop off because of the Medic update. But during that time, my authority grew. I mentioned I was able to outrank larger sites. I was also getting approached for interviews and those sorts of things. And the nice thing about the Q&A method is that over time you build up this authority with some of these smaller topics. You're able to then tackle larger, keywords that you want to go after. So those are some of the nice things as far as how to pull this off. First of all, what questions does your market have? Now, don't just focus on a question, focus on questions that you hear more than once. If you hear them more than once, it's a good sign that there's more people out there that want those questions answered. Then it's simply a point of you answer it. You can answer it in writing, you can answer it on a YouTube video and have it transcribed, whatever you want to do, and then just rinse and repeat. It's not a complicated process. Do not worry about complex promotion strategies. The point of this isn't to go out and build a ton of backlinks to generate more leads. The point of this is to build up authority over time. So do you promote it? Sure, if you have a social media following, go ahead and promote it, but don't worry about those complex promotion strategies. Just get the content out there and keep moving forward. Now, things I would do differently. Just because someone asks a question doesn't mean it's a good one to answer. I ended up answering during that year a lot of very small topic answers, and there wasn't a lot of demand for them, meaning I only had one person ask this obscure question and I still answered it. I wouldn't do that again. I would try to focus more on topics that I'm getting asked more than once or that I know there's a little more of a demand for. Otherwise, you just risk having too little demand When you do that, it kind of hurts the overall user experience, and your lead generation is going to take a hit. I would also now do exactly what I'm doing here is I would leverage other media, and particularly YouTube. And that's me personally. Of course, your mileage may vary. So hope this video was helpful. Stay tuned. I'll bring up more lead generation, copywriting, and content marketing ideas that I think would benefit healthcare companies. Again, Curtis Alexander, curtismalexander.com. Thanks for your time.